Christians around the world are preparing to celebrate Christmas tomorrow, celebrating, of course, or commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ. But beyond the celebrations, the season also invites, I suppose, those who follow this reflection on faith, love, and hope. So let's speak about this with Reverend Waqu from the Methodist Church of Southern Africa about, I suppose, the true spirit of Christmas and its significance during these trying times. Rev, thanks very much indeed for making time to speak to us. Welcome to the SABC News Channel. It's lovely to have you on board. So much about the Christmas message, I suppose, for many people is wrapped up in great gifts and celebrations and all the likes. But we also live in a time where a lot of people are disillusioned and struggle to grasp what hopes look like, given the year that we've had. And I wonder, in that context, what you reckon the Christmas message ought to be in 2025.
Thank you very much, and greetings to you and all the SABC viewers. Indeed, this is a pertinent question, especially in our time as this generation where we see so much going wrong in almost every sphere of life. There are concerns. So it becomes important for us to reflect deeply on what Christmas should mean for us. In the first instance, Christmas is supposed to be a season of love. And I want to qualify what I mean by that. This is not the kind of love that is driven by preferences. It is the kind of love that is driven by choices. And so in this instance, the Christmas season is supposed to be about choosing to love. And we get this from the very moment of Jesus being born as a choice that God makes for God to be born into a manger. Now, a manger, if I were to explain it, it is not just a place, it is a filthy pool that is in a stable where the food would be kept and stored, and animals would come and feed on that. It would be elevated, and because of its elevation, it would then assist with preserving the food from the animal droppings and urine. But then there's one thing that you would not escape. It is the saliva of the animals. And so as animals feed, there will be moist in the food, and bacteria would feed. And so Jesus gets to be born into such a place that is not sterile at all. It's not a sanitized place. It is a choice that God has made to be contaminated and to lie in a place that is filthy.
Yeah.
And perhaps this kind of love that we're talking about for Christmas is a choice then to identify with the struggles of one another, the challenges that we are faced. It is not to be commercialized and just throw gifts at people without having chosen to love them by identifying with their struggles and challenges in life. If Christmas were to be that, we would be more compassionate, which is, what people need this Christmas. We would be more of advocates as we speak of the ills that we see in society, and boldly so. We would be making plans not only to give people gifts, but to give people dignity. We would be thinking hard, even as leaders, on the choices that we make that will not enrich us, but will help enrich other people. And so it becomes important for us to choose to love this Christmas.
Yeah.
That should be the message of Christmas in 2025.
And we'll speak about the role that the church can play, given, I suppose, the framing that you've just given us. But I want to stay with the theology for a moment, if I can. I don't think you need to be a Christian to find the personhood of Jesus to be quite interesting. I mean, this was an individual who was very unconventional in many ways, broke the rules that existed, and had a message for people even even if they weren't ready to hear it. From the, I suppose, whipping out a whip and, slashing some of the traders outside a church, allowing or having meals with sinners, et cetera, et cetera. The question then becomes, Rev, how can Christians today take on at least that attitude, right, of being disruptive in their messaging or in their love, even if in some instances it's unpopular?
Right, thank you very much. It's interesting that you bring that up, because if being a Christian is to follow a set of rules, then nobody should become a Christian. But if Christianity is a lifestyle and a spirituality, then there's every need for us to have Christians in this world, because it becomes a way of living. It becomes a character. It becomes the choices that we make. It becomes, therefore, the very purpose we live for. And so Christianity is not just a matter of religion. It is a matter of spirituality. It is a matter of believing in the one who showed us what does it mean to be a loving society. And so it becomes important, therefore, when we talk about Christianity, not to look at it as just a set of rules and do's and don'ts, but as a way of living. Indeed, if we were to say that nobody needs to be a Christian, it means nobody needs to be a follower of Jesus Christ, because the name being a Christian, it is to follow in the footsteps of Jesus Christ, who showed us the way. As he said, I am the way, the life. And therefore, it is important that those who see Jesus' way as the way, then choose that kind of life. Hence, then we become Christians. And so the question that I would be asking this Christmas is, what kind of life are you choosing? What way are you choosing? Are you choosing the way of Christ? Are you choosing the way of love? And if that be the case and you believe in Jesus Christ, therefore Christianity becomes what this world really needs in this day and age, so that the values that he upheld become the very values that we also uphold, so that Christianity does not just become a name, but it becomes a responsibility, just as Christ was a title to Jesus Christ, and he lived by that responsibility of that title. And so if there are people who want to call themselves Christians this day and age, they better be ready for the responsibility that goes with that title. And so it becomes important, therefore, for the Christians to understand that we have a responsibility to uphold.
Yeah. I imagine for many people who, I suppose, identify as Christians, the church is a big part of what tomorrow ought to look like. There are probably going to be services galore, but it does, I suppose, allow us an opportunity to reflect on what the institution's role is, given the complexity, I think, of being Christian in today's day and age, especially because, Rev, we do come from a history where the church has played quite the role in shaping this country's not only religious landscape and architecture, but even our body politic.
Sure. One of the biggest mistakes we make is that we think we are only preparing for tomorrow and we lose sight of today. But we can't have tomorrow without today. And so it is important that the church is rooted in what it needs to be today. Church needs to recognize that we can't shape tomorrow without shaping today, because tomorrow will have come from a particular history that would have been shaped by today. And so it becomes important that today becomes critical in the manner in which we perceive ourselves, in the manner in which the world perceives us, but even in the manner in which we perceive the world. And so when we prepare for tomorrow, we must be rooted and entrenched in today and making sure that the things we do today shape tomorrow, because tomorrow is a result of today. And so we can't just work for tomorrow without working for today. And so the church needs to be very much cognizant of what today looks like and then deal with today so that tomorrow becomes better than yesterday. Otherwise, if we're only focusing on tomorrow, the result is that tomorrow is not going to be different from today because we have not done anything from today. So it becomes important for the church to make sure that it addresses the issues of today and not just hope for tomorrow without having worked on today. That would be the critical role that the church needs to play. For instance, we can't say that we are planning for tomorrow when there is so much violence. What are we doing to deal with violence today when it has become so easy for someone to point a gun and shoot, when it has become easy for someone to beat someone, when it has become easy for someone to steal resources that should have helped others. We've got to deal with those issues today so that there are better principles and values that people uphold today in order for us to become a better generation tomorrow.
Plenty of provocations there. Reverend Svars Waqu, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Really do appreciate the reflections. Hopefully some of the challenges you've thrown out are taken up, at the very least, when you consider what is ultimately at stake. Really do appreciate the time. Reverend Waqu is with the Methodist Church of Southern Africa, speaking to us there about the significance of the Christmas message in contemporary South Africa.